June 12, 1994 was a day like no other. Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman were found brutally murdered outside of 875 S. Bundy Drive in the upscale neighborhood of Brentwood, California. The next day, millions of Americans were shocked, intrigued, and in disbelief. Not because Nicole and Ron were killed, but because the main suspect was none other than O.J. Simpson, Hall of Fame NFL running back and beloved by millions. In the highly publicized trial of the people of the state of California versus O.J. Simpson, also known as the O.J. Simpson murder trial, Simpson was allegedly accused of killing his ex-wife Nicole Simpson and waiter Ron Goldman on the night of June 13, 1994. Mr. Simpson was a wealthy African-American, famous ex-football star, successful actor, and NFL commemorator, and was a household name for most families in America. The trial was aired on televisions across the U.S. and would come to highlight the racial and economic divide in the nation. This trial would become to be known as one of the lengthiest and infamous trials America has ever saw. At the night of his career, Mr. Simpson filled stadiums with fans who would come to watch his football skill. Unknown to most, however, was that Mr. Simpson also had a history of mentally and physically abusing his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson. Mr. Simpson could not stop from harming Miss Simpson and wanted full control over her life. In fact, it was this history of beating which made the murder seem more possible. Although there was overwhelming evidence against O.J., he was able to elude prison, much like he eluded tacklers in the NFL. And on October 3, 1995, he was found not guilty. Although Mr. Simpson was found not guilty of killing his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman, there was an overwhelming amount of evidence that O.J. committed the crimes. This was in part due to new technology and forensics available to the Los Angeles Police Department. Furthermore, there was DNA evidence of O.J. Simpson's blood, and shoe prints were left at the scene of the crime. This information proves that O.J. Simpson was there and during the time of the murder, and additionally, it shows that he could have possibly played a role in the crime. As a matter of fact, there was an overwhelming amount of evidence that Mr. Simpson committed the crime. There was 10 times more evidence in the O.J. trial that normally exists in a murder case. And the trial of blood led straight to O.J. Due to the fact that there was so much evidence stacked up against Mr. Simpson, most Americans thought this would be an open and shut case, highlighting O.J.'s heinous murders. However, the prosecution seriously underestimated Mr. Simpson's dream team of lawyers during this trial. The Bureau learns that O.J. lied about knowing Ron Goldman and that traces of Ron Goldman's blood were found in O.J.'s car. This blood and DNA evidence should have proved Mr. Simpson's guilt, but investigators also found a glove at O.J. Simpson's mansion matching a bloody glove found at the scene. In addition, there were bloody footprints made by a size 10 Bruno Maglia shoe that were proved to be worn previously by O.J. during an NFL broadcast. With all of this physical and circumstantial evidence, he was still able to beat a murder rap. Due to Mr. Simpson's fame, this trial was highly publicized and was viewed by millions of Americans. For many, it consumed their daily lives and was talked about at water coolers and dinner tables. People were so intrigued by the O.J. Simpson murder trial that theories, speculations, and opinions were debated daily. For months, it was the headline of talk radio, daytime television, and nightly news programs. As many would come to see, wealth will play a key role in the trial. O.J.'s defense team was able to dedicate tremendous resources, time, and money to chip away at the prosecution's rock-solid evidence. The trial highlighted the disparity in our judicial system for those that have money and those that don't. High-profile lawyers including F. Lee Bailey, Robert Kardashian, Robert Shapiro, Alan Dershowitz, and Johnny Cochran, and Gerald Ullman used many elaborate tactics to prove Mr. Simpson's innocence, such as trying to accuse the police of being racist. The defense turned the focus from the case from Simpson being guilty to Fullman, a policeman covering the case, being guilty of racism and planting evidence. The people of the state of California versus O.J. Simpson had intrigue, drama, and suspense worthy of a Hollywood setting, and the viewers of this trial formed opinions that would ultimately divide the nation by race and class. There was an overwhelming amount of evidence against O.J. Simpson that shows how justice simply was not served. Multiple DNA samples of Mr. Simpson's blood was found at the scene of the crime. O.J. Simpson was clearly at the scene of the crime and was involved with the murders, but because of sloppy police work, the defense was able to create doubt. In addition, the defense attempted to make the trial about O.J.'s race and police being biased against African Americans. The jury was made up of 9 African Americans, 1 Hispanic, and 2 Caucasians. Many experts felt that this favored O.J. Simpson, as they would be more sympathetic to believing police misconduct. In fact, it would be the sloppy police and forensic work that led O.J. Simpson to be found not guilty. Because of these sloppy procedures and the wealth of Mr. Simpson, the defense was able to create doubt that the blood was his. Although there was a tremendous amount of evidence, and because police misgivings were so prevalent in the African American community, the trial ultimately left the nation divided. There were those who believed O.J. was innocent, and those who believed he was guilty. Those who believed in the justice system, and those who questioned it. Those who believe that race impacts court decisions, and those who don't. Ultimately, the trial exposed the deep racial and economic divides that still exist in this country.